Hello, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Luke.
And this is Up to Date.
A little bit of a change to the format this week. First off, you've probably noticed we're doing this in podcast now. So you can download it straight to your iTunes, straight to your devices, however you'd like to listen to us. A little bit easier than before. We're also doing it as more of a discussion type show. So we'll see how it goes. And if it's awful, we'll just go back to the old format and then we'll never speak of this again. BitTorrent's secure chat app Bleep. With recent revelations on government surveillance, torrenting giant BitTorrent have decided to release a fully encrypted messenger app. It's easy to use, private and secure. BitTorrent are saying it's a way to speak freely without worrying about who might be eavesdropping, calling it the new normal in a post-Snowden era. This app stands head and shoulders above a lot of other encrypted messenger apps because it does not leave behind metadata on central servers. So what do you think of this, Cameron?
Well, firstly, metadata. Sorry, couldn't resist. I think it's really interesting that BitTorrent have chose to release the app the week following Tor have released the Red Onion anonymising web browser app for iOS. I think for political activists in countries like China, this could have huge change and make them be able to communicate with the outside world a lot more safely.
I would say from an English point of view, if you're living in England or America or any of the European countries, it can certainly help you get away from some sort of government surveillance. I know that a lot of people say, oh, they're not looking at you personally, but if you've got a very dark sense of humour, such as I do, you can get away with it online. And I think everybody's entitled to a sense of humour, but there's certain things you can say online that will flash up some lights somewhere in an office somewhere, and you could get in a lot of trouble. You used the example earlier when we were speaking about it, of a man who got arrested over a tweet.
That's it. There was a gentleman going on holiday to the States and he released a tweet saying, ready to blow up America, meaning have a really great time and party really hard. The NSA caught up with this, the FBI. He was stopped by the TSA at the border and he was denied entry to the States and sent back home, costing him thousands of pounds, a completely wasted holiday, and a disaster for him.
Absolute disaster.
Being interrogated by the FBI.
Yeah, it's like saying you're gonna tweeting going to New York, gonna paint the town red, and them saying that, oh, that's communist. Clearly, no,
exactly.
It's just an expression. So if you want to get away from that and talk privately with your friends, this is a great way to stay anonymous online. So it's called Bleep, and it's by BitTorrent. Next up, we have, following from a previous story that we reported on 2 weeks ago, the German court in Frankfurt has lifted the ban on Uber car for hire service app. The story was basically that a court in Frankfurt decided that Uber should be banned from Europe's biggest economy because it was non-competitive with taxi companies because it was too cheap. And it's come out this week that they've decided no, actually the reason that they banned it, to be honest, was probably because it's too competitive, it's too cheap. I think this is a real victory for the future in general. There's this sort of the old powers and the old the former giants of the transportation industry are being taken on at their own game, and hopefully it's for the best. Hopefully they can all find a new way to innovate and become new, better companies.
Yeah, cheaper transport benefits everyone, so I'm very much in favour of Uber, and I'm glad to see that this Frankfurt judge is being progressive and he's thinking about the future. The world isn't going to wait for taxi companies, for example, to catch up. Technology is the future, and that's where we have to focus our attention.
Yeah, again, one of the things that I think is going to happen, probably to taxi companies, is I was actually saying this earlier, the yellow cab drivers of New York are probably going to suffer the most from this kind of thing, because at the moment Uber's come out and it's maybe it's not taken over massively over there, and it's not become like the new big thing, but it certainly opens a gateway for a whole host of new things that could take over that sector. And with self-driving cars and stuff, an app to order a car to your house, it seems like a perfect solution. Almost like we have the Boris bikes here. You could do the same thing with cars and then run it on a self-driving car with an app, maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's a good thing.
And that presents some really interesting opportunities for hackers as well.
Yeah.
Imagine a self-driving car turning up at your house and then you hacking it for a joyride. Sounds pretty good to me.
I never thought of it that way. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Cosmos browser will let you surf the web via SMS. Now you might think this sounds about as useful in the modern day as setting out on a transcontinental voyage in a bathtub, but this does actually have some innovative and useful applications. In some countries where wireless internet access is very slow and unreliable, the Cosmos browser will allow them to enter a URL and load the text from the site that they've requested.
See, the thing I find interesting about this is you may be thinking, oh, it's a pretty useless app, but like you said, in countries where the internet speeds are slow or network coverage is bad, maybe you would say this country sometimes.
Definitely.
It could be quite a useful tool, but the main problem comes across when websites are by very nature interactive.
Yeah.
You get to fill out a field, and then even Google's the fastest loading page, one of the most used page on the internet. You go to the page and it's empty except from a field you have to fill in. Now, if you're sending that in a text format and you can't fill in the field, then you've got a dead page.
You've got some difficulties there, definitely. We've moved so far away from the HTML-based text sites that we had when the internet first came around. Now we have all manner of interactivity, and I don't really see the Cosmos browser taking off in the Western world, but perhaps in places like India, where there are more mobile phones or smartphones used than toothbrushes, and internet connections are pretty bad. It could be useful. It could be a useful and cheap way for the millions of Indians over there to access the internet.
I should imagine they've got quite a lot of both, to be honest. So next up we got Dropbox temporarily suspending auto backup of photos and videos for iOS 8 users. They've mentioned it in a blog post. The problem comes across with iOS 8 because of the way it's built. It's prohibiting Dropbox and other companies from being able to sync your photos and videos properly in the way that they would have done with iOS 7. I'm sure in about a week they'll manage to find a way around it. And they'll sort it out. But until then, they've suspended the automatic backing up of files, so be careful when you're deleting files off your phone. If you think I'll be backed up anyway, it probably won't. But you'll probably still find it on your iCloud, so it's not too much
exactly,
of it's not too much of a hindrance.
No, not at all. FIFA 15 Ultimate Team for Android and iOS now available for download. I'm not a big football fan myself, but I've seen the retweets, the favourites and everything, Twitter going quite mad over FIFA. The EA, the makers of the popular game, have revealed that FIFA 15 Ultimate Team for mobile video game is now available to download in selected regions for Android and iOS users. And Windows Phone version has been announced also, but nobody really cares about that. The game will be made available globally in a gradual release process, starting with Europe and America. The FIFA 15 Ultimate Team app, as the name suggests, focuses on the Ultimate Team mode of the game's console version, as well as Match of the Week and the new Quick Simulation mode.
Well, when I used to play FIFA when I was younger, I used to play at, Windows 98 or whatever, and it was a FIFA, the first FIFA or whatever. It was good, but it didn't have many features on it. It was just sort of a gameplay thing, whereas these new FIFA things, every so often I fall into the YouTube hole, end up watching KSI videos or whatever. And I really like the way they've integrated some of the features that used to be in games such as Football Manager into that, and I hope that would be in this app. And we will be playing a few of these apps that we mentioned, doing run-throughs of these apps on our YouTube channel. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. But first off, WhatsApp iPhone app confirms video calling feature is imminent. And if you want to know exactly when that comes out, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at iOS App News 24. It's at iOS App News 24. Other stories of this week, Just Dance will be coming out. Do you remember Just Dance?
I do, definitely. Can't forget.
Just Dance will be released at some point this week, free for Android and iOS devices. Again, if you want to know exactly when that comes out, at iOS App News 24.
We've got Twitter for iPhone finally gets a new design with interactive notifications and more. Twitter on Thursday started rolling out the update for its iOS app, dubbed the biggest update to profiles to date. Version 6.13.3 is now available on the App Store and is about 21 megabytes in size, so it's not too big. Twitter's blog notes that it features a fresh design with updated profiles to focus on your bio, tweets and photos, making it easy for you to get a glimpse into people you care about on Twitter. You can see a bio as soon as you get onto the profile. It's no longer a swipe away. The timelines for tweets, photos and favourites are easy to get to, and you can access them from wherever you are in that profile. The feature is available for iOS 7, however has been predominantly designed for iOS 8, announcing the interactive push notifications feature for iOS 8 users only. The blog also notes that you'll be able to interact directly with push notifications from Twitter, meaning you can retweet, favourite, follow and more directly from the notifications if you have iOS 8. I think this is a great feature that it should have been around a long time ago. Really interesting. Shame it's not there for iOS 7 users, but I suppose this is what the iOS update is all about. Twitter have also recently been testing buy buttons that allow people to make purchases directly from the marketing posts on the microblogging site, which is really interesting too. Twitter being very progressive at the moment. And not too long ago, Twitter rolled out its new features for its iOS app, enhancing the attachment sharing and video viewing experience for users.
You'll be able to hear more about this on our previous podcast from earlier on last month, the 29th of last month. Other apps that are updating and utilising iOS 8 this week are the CNN app,
Doom 3,
Quake 3,
Pages,
Numbers,
Keynote, Isla Drive,
GarageBand,
Beats Music,
Find My iPhone,
Find My Friends.
and the Airport utility.
Our top apps to check out this week are
Project Life,
Colour Keyboard for iOS 8,
Camera Plus Remote.
Adventure Time,
Our gaming apps this week are FIFA 15 Ultimate Teams,
Monster Hunter Freedom Unite for iOS,
Zen Garden,
Plunder Pirate,
and Goat Simulator for iOS. So, just going back briefly to the Twitter here, I think it's really good how they've sort of progressed and making it all new and stuff, but I really don't appreciate when I like a bit of backwards compatibility. I don't like forever backwards compatibility, but it seems a bit of an annoying cut-off to say last week's people can't have, can't have this feature, which is, it's doable. It's not like they don't have the money or the budget to make that happen, and it's not an undoable thing on iOS 7. I guess with all these video embedding stuff, that is fantastic. That is available on iOS 7 as well, and all of these other features that come along just in the app in general are really good, and I really like the new interface, and I really look forward to using it a lot more. We use Twitter quite a bit, I've got to say.
Indeed, yeah.
We are at iOS App News 24. That's at iOS App News 24. And if you want to know a little bit about the games we've been discussing during this show, you can go and watch us doing some playthroughs on Monday over on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to www.youtube.com/3dealstudio and follow us on Twitter. We are at iOS App News 24. That's at iOS App News 24. This has been App to Date with me, Luke.
And me, Cameron.
Thank you for listening.